Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming. Just a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider giving us a subscribe, and if you like this particular video, give us a thumbs up. Alright, hoping everybody had a very Merry Christmas wherever you are in the world. So we're continuing our treasure chest challenge with modern Boros burn. We've been doing some Boros, some Rakdos, but mostly Boros throughout this thing, so... List is very similar to what... Merry Christmas from a Canadian. What's up, Steve? So, this list is similar to what we've been playing lately. The 3 Rest in Peace, 2 Anger of the Gods. This is the hedge against Dredge, which ironically we still haven't played against since I made the switch. 2 Direfleet Daredevils, obviously the weird choice. But this is pretty good against a lot of the mid-range and control decks, and Black, Green, Rock, and Jund have been 2 of the tougher matchups. Also can come in against control decks and stuff, flashback their cantrips, flashback, any decks that happen to be playing Lightning Bolt, or Collective Brutality, or any of those things to deal more damage to your opponent. So it's effectively a 2-for-1, again, using your opponent's own graveyard resources against them. Exquisite Firecraft, obviously against the control and shadow decks. Couple Grim Lavamancers against creature decks. 4 Path to Exile. Creatures gotta die sometimes. And then the main deck's pretty usual from what you see, other than there is no Stomping Ground in the list. So it's pretty good. Space Marine, how was yours? Well, let's get this league rolling. Don't have a ton of time to stream tonight, so gotta love work in the morning. But, obviously, Bert, you don't remember. Yeah, well, you were talking about getting drunk, so I guess that shouldn't surprise me. But, I think the last several times, like last 3 leagues, we've cashed with burn, so hopefully that trend continues. Rakdos list has been performing pretty well the last several times out. Boros did... I think we went, 3-1 or 4-2 last time out with Boros, so let's hope that trend kind of continues. So next weekend I was planning on going to the Columbus Star City event for the modern, side event. I forget what, Modern Classic, but looks like the finances won't be there, so instead I'll probably be staying at home playing the Modern Challenge and the Modern Mythic Championship Qualifier, whatever they call it, on Sunday. So obviously gotta test Modern a little bit seriously here in the next 10 days or so. Yeah, hand's pretty solid. We are on the play with a roll of 2. So, the only thing that sucks is outside of Swiss Beer, our hands like mono 2 drops. So, after we're playing a ton of Arena, this is like the only thing that's a bit of an annoyance is like the delay. It's like, come on, you have nothing to play on turn 0. Yeah, it looks pretty sweet, but I already have O'Doyle's list I gotta queue up first, plus I have to do a little bit of a lot of testing. So, it's not really a Miracles list, it's a Primeval Amulet list, pretty much, in Modern. So, let's see if our opponent actually bolts the Swiss Spear here. Guessing they're just gonna bolt Eidolon, but, Opponent's like, wait, probably better bolt the Eidolon. No, it's not a green deck. It's an Esper. It is an Esper control-ish deck, sort of. Very similar to the standard list that's running around. So we're either in the Burn Mirror or Mono Red Huh? Okay, it looks like we're up against mono red nonsense here. Okay, Generator Servant's definitely the card dying next turn. Like, I don't know what our opponent's doing, and I don't want to find out. Sounded like a dog. That's kind of scary. What's up, Jan? How you doing? I have no idea what's going on here. Goblin Chain Whirler. Okay. So can we kill our opponent this turn? Bolt would put them to 8. Helix would put them to 5. Kind of jank is what our opponent's playing. Not really certain. Presuming our opponent's just got a chump block with Chain Whirler here, right? Okay, or not, and then you just die. Okay, that's cool. Some type of aggressive maybe. It'd be pretty close between that and Death Shadow right now, but yeah, I would definitely be one of 2 decks that I would consider of the decks that are in my current arsenal. It's quite likely I'm going to be playing it in either a modern challenge or a 10-person, or probably likely 10-round modern. So I probably want Anger of the Gods, given what they've shown us. Probably Direfleet Daredevil. Lavamancer is okay, but they probably have quite a few burn spells in their deck. Probably not interested in these Skull Cracks. Excuse me. And beyond that, it's probably... A Generator Servant gives me a little bit of pause about what they have going on over there, but... Such a pea scooping to a single force of will. I don't think I've watched any of the Legacy stuff lately over there. But... So we're up against mono red, and this is pretty easy mulligan, obviously. This hand's good if we find a second and third land. Second land, sign me up. Oh, Matt Courier is slightly annoying. So I don't think I need to bolt Bomat quite yet. Looks like we're just up against some variant of, what on earth is coming down this turn? Chain Whirler is a bit of a weird card in this deck. They're like accelerating accelerating into Goblin Chain Whirler seems really, really loose. I'm just going to hold back Swift Spear on defense here. Force my opponent to, like, expend a bolt to get this out of the way. Like his standard deck from last season, yeah. But I don't understand, like, what's the point of the Generator's Servant? Like, the Simian Spirit Guide... No, I didn't disconnect, I don't think. Nope. Goodbye, friends. See what their hand is, if their hand's... Oh, apparently they still like their hand. We are a little bit behind in the race, which kind of sucks. But... see, let the Prowess trigger resolve. They do. Really kind of like to know what's in our opponent's hand. Is it just a bunch of lands? Yep. Alright. Does look like we are in fact playing against a modern version of Ramanat Red. And looks like we're dead. Alright. Well, I mean... yeah, we're just basically dead here. At least they could bring Glorybringer. So how interested are we in Anger of the Gods, then? I think we want probably some number of path here. I don't know how many, though. Like, Dire Fleet isn't probably as good, given their situation, then. Yeah, definitely path for Dargans. Is anybody else having problems with the stream, or is it just Mista? It's a mulligan, unfortunately. Looks like we might lose to the mulligans here. Okay, Mista. Just wanted to make sure. Hopefully they play an idiot on one here. Makes our, whatchamacallit live off the top here. It's possible I should have held on to that Sacred Foundry to turn our whatchamacallits live. Chain Whirler? Oh, that's a kick in the junk. We knew it was a possibility. Fortunately, there's a pretty good chance we lose here now. Alright, well, lose to an absolutely garbage deck. Kind of frustrating. No, this is definitely not Arena. This is Magic Online. But our opponent was playing basically a standard deck from last standard season, and they brought it into Modern by adding some cards to it. And in true Modern fashion, we lost to a sideboard card on a mull to 5. So. Looks like the Burn Mirror. Delightful. Someone who literally ported their modern or their standard deck into Modern from the Ramanat Red. Yes, but the difference between playing cards that are already Modern good and playing cards that are subpar for Modern by playing some of the cheap mana tricks that certain decks are capable of, I don't know that I'm being highly spiritual. It's just our opponent's playing a garbage pile of cards that happen to win. Oh, okay. Hopefully our opponent cracks their fetch here. Getting Boros charmed or something here. Yep, Helix back, which kind of sucks. Another Eidolon. So we can put them to 10, then to 6. But we don't have enough life points here to just flat out kill them. Because the Rift Bolt could put them to 10, Boros Charm could put them to 6. But that puts us at 3. And then we can't cast double Lava Spike. So we're probably just dead this next turn. Unless their hand's like literal Searing Blazes and lands. Yeah, most likely they do. But let's make them have it. Path, bringing in Daredevil. Going down Lava Spike, and a couple copies of Eidolon, because I don't really like the card in the matchup. Space Marine, in case you hadn't noticed, we're not exactly off to the best start with the deck. We lost to Ramanop Red, of all things. Eidolon's decent on the play. I just don't like Eidolon and Matt. Eidolon's only good when you're cementing how far ahead you are. What's up, War Dog? Merry Christmas. Have you actually watched Day 2 Dryden play it? The deck sucks. Like, it is exactly the opposite of what you want to be doing in Modern. It is a mid-range deck that does not have a fast clock, that does not disrupt the opponent. Yeah, but good in Standard does not necessarily translate to good in Modern. Well, we lost to Ramanop Red, so that's how the night's going so far. And then we lost game 1 of the Burn Mirror, so. No, it doesn't need to see a ban. If they have Lightning Helix here, we get punished. If they don't, then they're dead. Alright. So, I'm not going to presume they don't have the sideboard hate card, because that's why we lost to Ramen Up. Then bring in a couple copies of Lava Spike here. This hand's pretty decent even on the draw. We even have an answer to, whatchamacallit? Yeah, Core Firewalker. So we're going to get Searing Blood and next turn. Stony Silence? Yeah. Everybody's bringing in Stony Silence in the Burn Mirror. So that was my opponent telling me they only had one land. So their hand must be heck of it, very insane. Okay, so they drew the second land. You're more likely to see Faithless Looting or Ancient Stirrings get banned than see Ponder get unbanned. You really don't want to risk making decks like Storm and Ad Nauseam better. Presuming we're getting Searing Blooded here. Which does kind of suck, because that's like our main source of damage right now is the creatures. Yep. So we know they have blood in hand, too. Opal is sort of safe for right now, but there are a lot of dangerous cards in Modern right now. Okay, so I don't want to draw that Monastery Swift Spear. If our opponent happens to have Helix here, they have Helix here, it's fine. Because it's fast mana. Did not really want to draw another land here, however. It's not even that it gives all colors of mana, it's just the fact that it's a broken card. See, this was a mistake by our opponent. They should have done this when we were tapped out last turn. Not that we have the card that punishes them here, but... Lavamancer, sure. It's way too many lands. They have another Searing Blaze effect here. I know they have blood. See where this shot goes. The shot goes at our face. Yeah, cool. And they're likely dead here. No one of the cards in their hands blood. See, Space Marine, there really is some skill to the burn matchup. Not a ton, but there is some. Well, how are they misplaying, Jan? Like, the only thing else they could have done there was to shoot our... To be fair, though, they're trying to kill us. And... we know one of their cards in hand's a dead card, and that only puts us to... what? We were going to 4 there, and so one of their cards in hand would have been a dead card. So they kind of needed to get in damage with that Grim Lavamancer there. It was probably a misplay, I agree, but in the circumstances you can kind of understand what they had going on, or what their thought process was. Sounds pretty good for a mulligan. Don't think we want a 3rd land right now. Like, unkeepable 7 into a pretty good 6-card hand is always nice, depending on obviously what our... So our opponent's either on Dredge or... yeah, most likely Dredge. Copperline Gorge is usually a Dredge indicator. Yep, we got some creeper chills. Their hand must be like cathartic and a bunch of dredgers. So we're gonna take a... They're probably gonna get like 10 looks at a creeping chill next turn. So... I'm gonna say they most likely have Cathartic Reunion in hand then if they're doing this. Or they're just planning on conflagging our board, either way, I guess. One and one so far. Still could be either Cathartic or Conflag here. Lost to Ramanat Red and beat the Burn Mirror because our opponent screwed up a little bit. Not sure if they're debating Conflag or what cards they're pitching with Cathartic here. I feel like this is a Conflagrate. Alright, so... pitching Loam and Amalgam. Man, their hand is slow. May not matter, but their hand is slow. It's the problem when you give a deck free Lightning Helixes, is we can't really capitalize on their nonsense. Alright, they had a Bloodghast, so, and they dredged back Loam, which means they'll be getting Bloodghast and Amalgam this turn. Why would you not cast... No, they need to... They don't really... I don't know if they need to ban anything out of Dredge. I just think printing Creeping Chill was a mistake. It's a lot of Amalgams. So this one's going to come back and trigger those two at my end step. I think the more aggressive the deck becomes, the better the deck becomes. Don't hit Creeping Chill here. It's the only thing I ask, don't hit Creeping Chill. Is what broken? No. Prized Amalgam says, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard or you cast it from the graveyard, return Prized Amalgam from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. So because the first Bloodghast triggered the first Prized Amalgam, they then cast Cathartic Reunion during their turn, and bin 2 more Prized Amalgams with the dredging. Then when the prized amalgam came in during their end step, it triggered the other 2 prized amalgams to trigger during my end step, which is the next available end step. There's actually a trick that the dredge deck uses to play around sweepers. So is the deck gimmicky? Sure. But it's also good for a reason. Remains to be seen how good it is long term, but it's a decent deck. No, we're not bringing in Daredevil. You don't want to bring in terribly too many creatures against Dredge, especially if they have access to Conflagrate. Like, this is one of those hands that, theoretically, this hand's good, but, I think we got a mulligan here. Huh. Keep and hope we hit land. Oh. Oh, it's definitely a greedy keep. It's 100% pure greed. Cathartic Reunion. Card is so stupid. Well, I kept the hand because it had Rest in Peace. Let's be completely honest. That's the only reason I kept the hand, was Rest in Peace. Our opponent casually shocks in a shock land and still keeps their life total high. Well, they certainly tried, Space Marine. They certainly tried. Although, unbanning Golgari Grave Troll was one of their more head-scratching moves that they've ever done. And getting back into their Blood Gas is going to kind of suck here. This looks like a Cathartic, or are they flashing back in Flagrate? Feels like they might just be flashing back in Flag. Which means they probably have an Amalgam in hand. Yeah, this keep was definitely very greedy, but if we'd hit runner, land, the game was pretty much over, probably. So they pitched everything. That's exceptionally greedy. I guess they didn't have a land in hand, so they had to do what they had to do. It depends on how good the blue-white base control decks are. Yeah, so we lose this game. Alright. land for a while. So I scooped there because next turn our opponent was going to dredge life from the loam, get back a boatload of power, and pretty much we couldn't win from there. So Hane was a greedy keep because of the rest in peace. We scryed the first land, missed on the second land. I mean, that's how rough the yeah, I can't keep this hand. Alright, hope we scry land to the top. Nope. I'm not worried about gaining value. I want to shut off their cards. Not necessarily victory. They could have a destructive revelry or something here. Looks like this is a cathartic reunion. Unless they had another land, though, I would have fled. I'm just being matter of fact, my man. It's most likely we win this game, but they do have a lot of card digging in their deck, and they do have answers to Rest in Peace. But they still should have fetched something other than... I guess if that's the only two lands they had access to, they did have to fetch the green for Nature's Claim. Why are you pitching... I don't understand. Whatever. They really shouldn't be pitching their multicolored sources, even if it does cost them life here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna cast a second Rest in Peace. From this point on, though, I want to hold up Skullcrack in case they have a hard cast Creeping Chill in their hand. Creeping Chill's a sorcery, correct? Don't want to make any dumb mistakes here. Come on, something that kills it here. Alright, or them conceding, that's perfectly acceptable too. This matchup still feels really, really, really close. Actually, I shouldn't even say really close. Matchup still feels very scary there. It's possible I should just be playing Dredge. Like, as much as I fear that deck, it's like, maybe this is a deck I'm just supposed to be playing? Deck is definitely powerful and scary. At some point I'm going to play Dredge, you know that, man. It's a mulligan. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that feel the same way about me always playing your brews. Like, not everybody wants to see blue-white miracles control all the time. Okay, polluted delta. Looks like... Oh. Do we kill the Hedron Crab here? I think we need to pressure our opponent's life total before we will worry about killing the crab. Hopefully they don't have Crypt Incursion in this game. Yeah, I know, but Hedron Crab represents 6 damage. Yeah, it's Sultai Mill. The big problem we have is this fetch will probably turn on an Archive Trap. Alright, well, we gotta do it, unfortunately. Do you have Archive Trap? We only had 1 basic left in our deck, too. That's rough. I do, in fact, have Archive Trap. So we only have... It's possible we could die next turn. That's Miracle Orb, sure. That's their only play. I think I'm okay with this. Fortunately, if they crack that fetch, they're dead. Hopefully they don't have, like, Fatal Push here. Turn 3 kill. Not too bad. So obviously Searing Blaze is not great in this matchup, but Hedron Crab is definitely a thing. And like, what else would I bring in? Like Grim Lavamancer? Like, I guess I could bring in like 2 Lavamancers and cut 2 Searing Blazes. I could see some argument for a couple copies of Rest in Peace. Just because of Crypt Incursion. I'm not bringing in all 3, but I can definitely see the argument for bringing in 2 of them. Yeah, I'm not bringing in the third one, but I will bring in two rest in peace. That's a good point. No, well, but they're not. They're most likely not going to leave in surgical against us. I stand corrected. They're leaving in surgical extraction against us. That seems really ambitious against burn. Why do you leave in surgical against burn? That it seems very counterintuitive. Well, Thoughtseize though, you're generally trading 2 life for 3 life, at least. Oh, I agree it can be a mill 3, but it does seem kind of ambitious. Like, is there a particular card that they're worried about? That they're... Am I getting brutality here? Nope, just glimpse. Is there anything in our graveyard they actually want a surgical? I guess they could want a surgical Eidolon here. This kind of freaking sucks. They probably have Archive Trap. Well, if they don't have Archive Trap, we're definitely not cracking any other fetches if we can help it. It doesn't look like they have it. Shocking. Crypt Incursion? Or Brutality? Fatal Push. Sure, makes sense. So that they had to take 4 to kill Eidolon? Eidolon more than did its job there. Yep. That's a fetch land that we will not be cracking. What's ludicrous, Mr. Jazz? So outside of Crypt Incursion, our opponent's likely dead here. They did get to draw 3, right? So how many creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It would definitely gain a lot of mana here, or a lot of life. What are they playing? Alright, so they get to go to... And they get to set up their surgical here, maybe? It might. reason not to kill them there. There's nothing they could have for 0 mana that gains them life. Sorry, just looking for a second to see if I actually played against Mill yet on this pile of lists. Bug control. Yeah, we've already played against Mill all of once. So, alright, on to our 5th and final match. Yeah, we got the pity chest. I'm hoping for a 4-1. Especially with how the league started. Like, that loss to Ramen Out Red just kind of like, it's like, really? I just lost to maybe a bad red mid-range deck. I mean, the deck certainly has, like, there are certain things that Ramen Out Red can do. But it's just like, what is Ramen Out Red doing that is better than any of the other red decks in the format? It's not faster than Burn. It's not faster than, or it doesn't control people as well as Scred. Sand's a keep, but it is obviously a bit like one too many lands here. Gobos. Well, one game I flooded out, and one game I mulliganed to 5, and they had Dragon's Claw. And the game I flooded out, they had Thundermaw Hellkite. So hopefully this turn's like Mog War Marshal or something dumb. Oh, this hand's going to be a lot more painful than Mog War Marshal. Like, if we had Eidolon on the play, this hand would be absurd. But because we're on the draw, Eidolon's actually a liability here. Well, it's not even the extra color, and actually Lightning Helix, I think people would buy an energy drink for a breakfast cereal called Curd Ape. Probably not. Probably more likely to buy something called Wild Nacatl than Curd Ape. Goblin Train on his ass. It's on top of our library. Searing Blaze? That's a nice one. So let's move to blocks. Block that one. Actually, no. Block that one. See if our opponent has a bolt here. Bolt that one. Who was joking about us being mono-red control earlier? So, that one's going after that one, that goes after that one. Our opponent is... We're taking 1 off of this exchange. Oh, nope. I guess I mistimed my lightning bolt there, so I'm taking 3. Actually, given the presence of grenade, I should probably do that now. We are definitely behind this game. What misplay, Jan? Oh, I couldn't control that. There was no way for me to sequence around doing that there. Fortunately, their dude has first strike, so we're taking... Here, take 5. So if we draw any burn spell or any haste creature, we're probably good here. Land means we may not be dead, but... Oh, I know they have trample. We had a chance there if we would have top decked a burn spell or a haste creature there. Anger of the Gods is pretty decent. Grim Lavamancer is pretty decent. Dire Fleet's not the best in this matchup. Boarding out the Skull Cracks, although they could certainly have Dragon's Claw. Yeah, being on the draw certainly hurt that game. If they have Dragon's Claw, we're going to lose. I mean, it's the one side effect of going... Actually, Dire Fleet might have been pretty good as a... Dire Fleet would have been pretty good as a first striker. Yeah. But they also have bolts and stuff to remove creatures, so blockers aren't always the best thing in the world. This hand is very controlling. Like, I think I'm going to lead on Lavamancer on 1 here. And then have this Anger of the Gods in reserve if they go too far wide. Yeah. Opponent's likely going to spend their turn... Oh, nope, they're just going to Mog Fanatic it down. Sure. To be fair, Dire Fleet is definitely probably, that's a misnomer. Dire Fleet feels like it's earned its place in the deck, you know? We're a little late on ways to kill them, but this Anger of the Gods gives us a lot of, Oh, it's probably solid in the Vile decks. Grenade? Sure. Now the question is, do I have to Anger of the Gods away these tokens? Feels like the answer might be yes, because if they have a Bushwhacker next turn, we're in a lot of trouble. But I'll just pass for now. This feels like Bolt into Whacker. Pseudo mono red control that can't really control decks. Yes, I'm aware of what I said, but there's no guarantee that they had the Whacker anyway. And they had Goblin Grenades, so it didn't matter anyway. Gobos is kind of a... Goblins is a reasonable matchup, but the last time I played against Goblins, my sideboard was vastly different. So last time I played against Goblins, I had Searing Blood, and last time I played against Goblins, I had Searing Blood and Core Firewalker in my deck, and that makes the matchup so much easier. Because Anger of the Gods is Anger of the Gods is more of a control card, and Searing Blaze is can be more of a tempo card that you can use with your creatures to back it up. So Anger comes at a cost. It's a reactive sorcery card as opposed to a reactive instant card. The upside obviously is better against Dredge, but then when we play against decks like Goblins or Zoo, decks that can get in with haste damage, it is a real trade-off cost in addition to the 3 mana. So the old build was probably pretty good against Goblins with Core Firewalker and Searing Blaze and Searing Blood, but the new build's probably closer to 50-50 or even probably slightly in Goblins' favor. So there are some trade-offs for switching the sideboard around to be able to deal with Dredge and such. So thoughts on the deck? I mean, the deck's still... if we'd aggressively taken the Anger there, we would have gotten bolted and then hit with... we would have bolted them, would have gotten bolted and gotten hit with... whatchamacallit, which would have dropped us to... So we were at 4, we would have dropped to 6, and then the next turn cycle, Goblin Guide plus Grenade was still lethal. So in the end, our stance didn't matter, but because we could have bolted one of the Goblins on their next turn cycle, but we were still taking 2 from one of those 2 creatures, and then the grenade would have finished us off. So it's just without seeing a lightning helix, or having an Eidolon when they're on the play, or when we're on the play, the matchup's just a race, and their deck's a little more efficient at racing and doesn't take damage from their mana base. So without access to a lightning helix, we were a little bit behind there. And the fact that they had an immediate answer with one of their worst creatures to our Grim Lavamancer only made it that much worse. So, I mean, the match was probably close, but we're probably, That's one of the trade-offs. Match 1 and match 5 are trade-offs you make when you don't have Core Firewalker at your sideboard. Like, the Burn Mirror is not that frequent enough to do Core. And actually, this league we played against 3 decks. The Core Firewalker would have been good. We played against Burn, Goblins, and Ramunat Red. So, like, there would have been some argument for like putting those, but we've played Goblins once, we've played Ramunat Red once, we've played Dredge 9 times now. And the Burn Mirror we've played the Burn Mirror I have played against 10 times, and we're 7-3 in the mirror match. So I don't necessarily feel the need for Core Firewalker right now. But something to keep an eye on. Depends on how the meta shifts, but I would suspect that Goblins and Ramunat Red are not a decks you're going to see a whole lot. So, well, it's taken us 3 months to get to 58, so I hadn't really thought of what happens after 2 months from now. We'll definitely probably continue streaming Burn. It's obviously one of my go-to decks in paper and online, because it's fast leagues, etc. As far as for the no, next time we're not playing Legacy Ninjas. Throwback to when it was the October challenge. Yeah, it's gonna. I guess I forgot the part where it would be the October to October 100 Treasure Chest Challenge. My bad. We're gonna be dead before he gets there. Thanks, Space Marine. Love you too, man. Love you too. As far as the immediate future, I'm going to be playing in a lot more big events this year, so I'm going to be focusing on testing for that. I need to start grinding some arena stuff again. Like, I was going to go to the SCG Columbus event, but I don't frankly have the money right now, so I'm probably going to stay at home and play a Modern Challenge and the Modern PTQ the Modern PTQ next week. So that's what the immediate testing is going to be for the next week or so. Beyond that, I've kind of narrowed down the decks that I'm going to be playing a lot to Burn, Death Shadow variants, Blue White and Jeskai Miracles, and then tweaking on decks like Amulet, Blue-Red Control, and then maybe pick up something like Storm or KCI. So that way, as far as Modern goes, like, we have a whole gambit of decks. Like, we have a couple of control variants, we have a combo variant or two, we have an aggressive deck or two. Blue Moon. There's like 3 or 4 different Izzet variant controls. There's the stock list is like 4 Thing in the Ice, 4 Snapcaster Mage, and then 1 Vendilion Click, and then some Jaces. And then there's a Through the Breach variant and a Kiki Jiki Deceiver Exarch Pestermite variant. And there's also a variant that runs, sometimes it's just a sideboard package, Platinum Imperion. Never mind, Dusk. Yeah, I know. You don't really think those are control decks, but they are, in terms of Modern, they are control decks. So, anywho, hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I'm going to sign off here for the evening and head to bed, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Got the 3-2 with Boros Burn. I think the deck's fine. It's not like fantastically positioned, but like anything else in Modern, it's all about your sideboard. It's all about your draws. You know, sometimes you get good matchups but bad draws, so, you know, sometimes you get bad matchups but find your hate cards, so, you know. Alright, everybody, this has been Dusk for Dusted on Gaming. Hope everybody has a great day, and hope everybody had a Merry Christmas.